This is Mark Whitten.
This is Adam MacArthur.
This is Ann Yatko.
This is Molly Chung.
Hey everybody, this is Michael Yurchak.
This is Daquan Wilshire.
This is Lexi Nieto.
This is Rico Fajardo, and you're watching.
And you're listening to Spoiler Force Podcast. Set your heart ablaze.
All right, so this is episode 155 of Spoiler Force Podcast. My name is Ricky, and thank you for tuning in. This week's guest, I am so glad to have them both on here. One is a returning guest. He is a Hmong rapper, producer, writer, artist. But then the main guest of the episode of this week is actually his son, who is an undefeated amateur boxer. He's probably the youngest guest I've had on this show. So I'm going to do my best not to swear as much and, just got to be professional as well. Don't want to be cursing around in front of kids. So let me bring my guests here, Tydus Yang and Lp Yang. Thank you guys so much for being on the show today.
What's going on, Ricky?
There we go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you guys on, man. Initially when we did this audio test, Tydus wasn't there, so I didn't get to really converse with him as much. But I remember when I first met your kids, they were still very small. Tydus, I forgot how, maybe he was like around 6 or 7. Maybe when I first met him, he was very little still. And to see him now as a amateur boxer, man, I was not expecting that. I thought maybe he turned to music like how you did.
Yeah, right. I tried to get him into music, but I don't know. It just never clicked. So,
well, how are you, Tydus? I know, is this your first interview podcast that you've done?
Yeah, basically.
So, like I told you before we start recording, don't sweat it, man. I'm not gonna dig into anything personal or ask any sus questions and all that. But I guess just we'll start off with you, Tydus. What made you decide to go into boxing? What was it that that made you just want to start training, even start sparring, and even having amateur bouts?
Well, basically, my dad put me in boxing. He was gonna do either karate or boxing. And then I decided to go with boxing. I think it was near my birthday when I started, and then now I'm here.
So, I mean, was it something that you just did because your dad said, or eventually you just found interest in it? Can you recall when, what was it that made you oh man, I actually like this sport. It's not too bad.
A few weeks in, I don't know. I started having fun with it, and then it became a daily thing. And then I guess boxing was my thing now.
Well, what do you think, LP? Putting your kid in there and then seeing him have amateur bouts, man. Most parents would not even want to see their kids fight or be in a sanctioned bout like that. But how was that for you as a parent?
Yeah, well, I mean, at first it was kind of nerve-wracking, just watching him spar for the first time. But as he made progress, I was like, man, he's actually pretty good, because I just wanted him to be active. So that's why I put him into boxing, because they're just home on their electronics and all that. I'm just like, bro, you got to do something. You got to find something to do, because I don't want you to just stay home and do nothing. So it's basically just to get him active, but then just to see him progress, I'm like, man, you're actually pretty good, kid.
Where'd these hands come from?
Yeah, for real.
Tydus, have you ever had any fights or anything like that? Have you practiced before? When I was younger, me and my friends, we used to do that whole Kimbo Slice backyard stuff. We put on gloves and just fight each other in the backyard. Did you do any of that? I mean, you might be too young for that, but did you even practice any of that?
No, I mean, not really. I wouldn't really practice like that. But at home, I work on heavy bags sometimes. I have a reflex bar and a reflex bag. Sometimes I work on those, but only here and there.
So what was it like for you when you first started sparring? Were you nervous? Was it
I was very nervous. The first time I sparred, I was very stiff, and I couldn't really move that much. And looking back to sparring, I was it's just weird.
Makes you like cringe a little, like, oh my gosh, I was that bad.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, when your dad was putting up like small clips of your like first several sessions, I noticed right away, like you had a really good right hand. Your right hand was going like you were making all your shots with your right hand. Your jab at first was not stiff, but you did drop your hand a lot. But then
Yeah.
I've noticed as you like your dad said, as you progressed over within the past year, like your footwork improved, your head movement is there. You land your combinations, you're very like relaxed, so I mean, for the folks who don't know, like I guess the gym that you train at, what is the name of the gym and where is it at?
It's Gold Gym, and I think it's at 13 Mile. Pretty sure.
Yeah, it's in Warren, so 13 Mile and Hoover.
Are they pretty new? Because I don't recall ever seeing that gym there.
I don't know. I don't know if it's new, but I think the boxing stuff, I think it's like not too long ago that they implemented that program there.
Oh, was it like a weightlifting gym at first then?
Yeah, it's just like a regular
Okay.
gym, like Planet Fitness type stuff.
Okay. So, Tydus, as you're training and as you're going through this new, I guess, career of just doing the sport, health is a big thing, right? And naturally, you're looks like you're fighting at your natural weight. But are you doing any weight cutting, or is that something that you've considered?
Weight cutting, it's kind of difficult because I eat like a lot of sweets and stuff. I'm still like a kid. Cutting is kind of hard for me. I mean, I kind of try, but not really working.
Do your coaches want you to cut weight at all, or are you just gonna go like natural?
I think they want me to cut weight because I think I'm at 100 right now. They're trying to get me to like 95, 98 maybe.
Okay, I mean that's not too bad. That's only like 2
Yeah.
pounds. You should be able to sweat that off pretty easily.
Yeah.
I guess just from this year of just training, Tydus, like again, like a lot of folks are now kind of seeing your growth, being like seeing your videos and clips on social media and all that stuff. Is any of that, getting that kind of, I guess, attention? Is that kind of making you a little bit nervous at all, or does that hype you up? How does that make you feel?
It makes me kind of confident, that people are supporting me out there, what I do. It's making me confident. Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to add this onto the earlier questions, but how does your mom feel about you fighting? Was she pretty like protective too, or was she like go kick their ass?
She was kind of protective. Yeah. She was kind of scared, I think, for me, for like my amateur fights. Yeah.
As most moms are. Like my parents hated when I was wrestling, or even when I was trying to do like MMA. So like they would never go and watch me do that stuff until I told them, like, like when it was, I think in high school, like there was a wrestling meet where there was parents day where parents had to come and support their kid, and they weren't there. Like I was the only kid with like no parent there, and they're like, oh shit, like we need I guess we need to be there. I was like, well, too late now. It's already happened. Like I got no support that day. But again, typical parents, and then especially like Hmong parents, man. Like Hmong parents don't really like approve of that, like of this kind of like sport. But I guess as the sport's growing, and then we see like the more professional side and even like safer side, like coaches and their cutmen, like they actually look out for their fighters. So I guess, Tydus, for you, like with your coaches, how is that relationship for you, like with you and your coaches?
They don't want me to get hurt, so what they tell me to do is just listen to them when I spar and stuff. Because when I listen to them, it mostly works. Sometimes I do my own thing, but mostly when I listen to them, I just, I don't really get hurt as much. But yeah.
I guess when you're sparring, I know that it is difficult to kind of hear your coaches that time too, because you're hearing your parents scream, the crowd screaming, even the other corner screaming. So are there any things that you do to kind of like just hone in onto what they're saying, or do you just kind of instinctually, or like just do what you've been doing like through repetition?
When I had my amateur fights, I couldn't really hear the crowd. I only heard my coaches. It's
nice.
I don't know. It's kind of like a boxing thing, I guess. But yeah.
Were you pretty nervous though for your first amateur bout? Because like I assume the feeling is different from when you're sparring in like back at your own gym.
Yeah, I mean, well, on my first amateur fight, they had it like I guess like they were kind of late with like the boxing gloves, so they had to push the time back. It took a while. It got me like super nervous because it took a long time.
And I've been seeing like your dad also like records you sparring with other kids that are from different gyms. How is that? How is that like? Because now you're sparring against kids who are like, I think Paul. I think LP, you shared a video with like him sparring with like some like I guess Golden Gloves or some kid who's actually like pretty elite for his age group.
Yeah. Most of the sparring partners we get him are people that are way more advanced. So like one kid, he has like over 20 fights, 25 fights, Golden Glove winner, and then the other guy, they're probably all like over 10 fights, and they're all just more advanced because that's the only way for him to make progress.
Were you pretty nervous seeing him like go against more elite fighters in the ring like that?
Yeah, every time he spars, my heart still like races, because it's like I don't know what's gonna happen, but I have faith in him. I believe in him. Like, I could tell like when he spars those more advanced kids, he's nervous. So it's like it's like he just got to get it out of his system, and I'm thinking like just more time in the ring, that'll it'll be better.
Now, for you, Tydus, how does that feel? Like when you're sparring against people who are that much better than you? Because even for me, when I was wrestling or when I was doing MMA, like when I was training against guys who are pretty elite, like I didn't even know what to do. At this point, like I felt like I was getting ragdolled. So how do you feel when you're like boxing with people who are that experienced compared to you?
I get nervous, like real nervous sparring people that are elite, because when they're elite, it's more harder, more trickier, and I get hit more, which means I get more hurt. But yeah, it's good work. But yeah,
Does your dad like put you on some sort of, I guess, diet regimen at all?
no, not really. I usually just eat the usual stuff that I eat. It's not really like a diet. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the only thing we do is just like because they usually weigh in the morning, so he don't eat in the morning, and then after he weighs in, we'll just eat like something healthy, and no pop, no pepper, none of that, just nothing to mess up his stomach. Yeah, so that's about it.
Are there any influences that you have, Tydus? I know there's a lot of like Asian boxers out there as of recently. Like I know I'm already drawing blanks of who, but I think I seen you like Hmoob. He was actually one of those YouTuber kids that was boxing on YouTube for a while, and then he's actually like training. Do you watch like any of those guys at all as well?
That's a little cray, Ty.
Yeah.
Oh, little cray.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's not bad. He started was it street boxing, and then now he's in amateurs, right?
Yeah, I think he's going up, but like because he was one of those guys that I watched too, like just out of nowhere, just doing street boxing, like just versing anyone out really, and then like doing that stuff. So aside from it, like are there any professional boxers that you watch that kind of help inspire you?
Probably Inoue and Brandon Lee.
Oh yeah, that's who I was thinking of, Brandon Lee. Yeah, because I've been watching him a little bit too. What about you, LP? Like, are there any boxers you watch as well? Like, since you got to be on the journey with them.
I try to watch everybody. Like, I never really watched boxing back then, but once he got into boxing, it's like I'm just going all in, just studying everybody, trying to send him videos, show him this, show him that. So there's a lot of guys there's a guy that fights at like I think 115 or 112, Jesse Bam Rodriguez. He's really good with the footwork and all that. I have him watch Lomachenko with the footwork, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson for the defense, Tank Davis for the power, all that stuff. And we try to watch a lot. I try to get him into it too, but he's still a kid, so he does his own thing a lot of times.
Well, I mean, it's good to kind of just like wean him into it, because I like because even for me, I forget how young he is. When you told me he was in like like 11 or 12. Like I'm like, God damn, like he's still very young. You're not even in high school yet.
Yeah, that's why I try my best to try to like balance it. I don't want it to be all about boxing all the time because he's still young. I don't want him to like be doing too much and then start hating it. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm trying to find that sweet spot of balancing being a teenager and boxing, you know.
So Tydus, for you, man, is there, I guess, would you ever consider, I'm pretty sure your coaches won't let you, but would you ever consider like doing like the street boxing stuff when you get older? Not now, but when you get older.
Probably not. I don't want to street box. I mean, like, it's kind of fun to watch, but I feel like just going to the ring in an actual gym and stuff is like way better than just street boxing.
And it's safer. Street boxing, if you
Yeah.
get hurt, that's on you. Like you can't, like there's the safety there is not really good. But
yeah,
it's more entertaining.
They have like exhibition bouts around here too, and I was thinking about putting him in one a couple weeks ago, but then we heard that if you're a USA boxing licensed boxer, then you can't do exhibitions outside of USA boxing. Unless if you do that, then you'll get it taken away. So I'm just like, we're not gonna deal with that.
Right, don't risk that.
Yeah.
So he's licensed then, right? He got like an actual like certificate or something like that.
Yeah. So all the fights that he fights, they count towards his amateur record.
Okay.
Yep.
How does that feel for you, Tydus, being undefeated right now? Like that must be a big confidence boost right there.
Yeah, it feels pretty good to be undefeated for now, but hopefully, I can keep this win streak.
I know with amateur boxing, the scoring is a little bit different. I know they kind of score more on like more aggression or like the more hits, like punches you throw or something like that. So like from seeing how they score amateur versus like professional, is that something you guys had to study up on too?
Yeah, we looked into that because with amateur, I think it's just whatever punches you land. So it's more, most of the kids, they throw more wild because they just want to get more points.
What about you, Tydus?
Yeah, basically, I feel like it's different because like when I watch some pro bouts and stuff, pro fights, when they throw punches, it's all like straight and stuff. During like amateurs, all wild, and like the scoring is different, like way different. Pros, they think smart. They use their jab a lot. Aggression is big key as well. But amateurs, it's not really technical as much because they're just wild sometimes.
I think your last bout you had that your dad shared, like the kid you I guess it was a TKO in the second round. Like he was throwing some pretty wild shots, but as you were trading them, you were landing the more cleaner shots. How does that, I guess, in your mind when you're, I guess, exchanging with someone who throws heavy punches like that, are you more like, do you like that kind of engagement more, or do you kind of stay away from it more?
I try to balance it out sometimes. I don't want to get too close, and I don't want to get too far like back. But I like exchanging sometimes. But like exchanging is kind of risky. I mean, we exchange. Whoever gets like the most or whoever gets the cleanest shots usually wins that, and it's risky.
Yeah, even for me, like I noticed that I do better when I'm exchanging with someone in the inside because I've got a shorter reach. So like I used to always try to like spar or fight far away from my opponent, but it made no sense because like if I have short reach, I can't even get in. So I have to force myself to get into like that kind of exchange or that kind of contact, and that's where like for me, that's where my wrestling helped me. So, for you, I know you're just doing boxing for now, but have you and your dad ever considered like you doing other sports at all, like MMA or wrestling at all?
Not really, but some of my friends at school, they want me to join sports in the school, such as like track or football, but I never really considered it.
What about you, LP? Like, are you considering anything like that?
I mean, it's really up to him, So like if he finds different interests, it's like, and he wants to try it out, that's fine. But it's up to him.
If you want to start your own podcast like Spoiler Force, then sign up with Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout has helped hundreds of thousands of users like me to begin their podcasting journey. With easy-to-use tools, you can effectively get your podcast into different platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and more. You can view your stats, create audio clips, and even have your own podcasting website. Buzzsprout offers ideas, tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you improve your podcast. Follow the link below, and once you sign up, you'll get a $20 Amazon gift card. This will let Buzzsprout know that I sent you and will also support Spoiler Force Podcast. If you want a simpler way to record both video and audio for your podcast, then sign up with StreamYard. StreamYard is the perfect program to create podcasts, host live streams, and even do video calls. There are many tools that can help you create and design your own personal studio. You can screen share, read live comments, and stream to different destinations like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also download your video and audio once you're done with your recording session. Follow the link below, and once you sign up with the basic or pro plan, you'll earn a $10 credit to use for StreamYard. Happy podcasting. Was this something that, even though your dad said this is something he wanted you to do, like, was this something that you even thought about before you started doing all this? Like, was this like something, instead of just staying home, like, did you ever have any interest in being in athletics and all that?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I would try any sport, but boxing and being athletic, I don't know. I was really lazy and stuff. I didn't really consider any of that.
I know that you are training to do Golden Gloves, based on the last video that your dad put up. Like, you guys were talking about Golden Gloves in April. You know, how has that been going for you guys so far?
It's not bad. I mean, weigh-ins tomorrow, I think at 1.
Yeah, so the way they do Golden Gloves is you got to weigh in like a month before, just so they know like what class to put you in. And then in April, I think April 7th or April 8th, it starts that weekend, and then the next weekend too. So if you win that fight, then you advance to the finals.
Oh, is it like I guess, is it similar to like a tournament bracket then? Is it kind of like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, because it's like a 2-weekend thing. So.
Oh man. So how are you feeling about that, Tydus? It kind of reminds me of like a wrestling meet. Like, you're just there at the event, you know, and you just keep going until the day's done.
Yeah. I mean, for a long wait, I'll usually get nervous, but right now I'm feeling all right. I feel kind of confident about the Golden Gloves. I mean, my coaches are what is it? They're giving me confidence, you know, and I've been training, and I feel really confident about Golden Glove. I think I could win it.
I think so too. I honestly believe you could probably win Golden Gloves, just again based off of just the highlights and what I've seen. I hopefully, like, I know it's cool to put up the content like this, but hopefully, like, they don't show too much of your training, so like your opponents don't study you, which is good, because I know that with like social media nowadays, like, everyone wants to show like, oh, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I'm doing it, but at the same time, you kind of have to like be careful as well, because you don't know who's watching. But I guess with that being said, are there times where you do have to study your opponents as well? Like, do you watch, like, I guess, any footage at all, or do you just kind of go in, you know, just go in blind pretty much, and like, all right, we're just gonna verse this guy and good luck out there?
Yeah, I usually just go in the versus this guy, but I can't really find him on social media anywhere, so it's kind of hard. So I just go in and do whatever.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
oh, yeah.
We just you know, with amateurs, it's like you really don't know them until that day, because you really don't know who your opponent is until you go in. You know, they might give you a name, and when they give us a name, I'm not gonna lie, I do try to research. You know, I do a little research to try to find some footage, but most of the time I really can't. And then even with his stuff like that, I try to just clip it up just so they don't see too much of like what he does. It's just highlights, you know what I mean? I don't really want to show like whole sparring sessions, just so they can't really read him like that.
Yeah, I think that's very smart, because like I've said, like, if people tend to do that on social media, it's very tempting to kind of just put up your video and like, this is what I've done, because like, you know, likes and all that stuff, and especially for someone like Tydus's age, this is like their era of like social media, so that's a big flex for young kids. Like, this is what I'm doing, you know, and look at the hard work I'm putting in. But it's good that you guys keep this like down low, so that, again, so there's people that don't go out there and study, because even, you know, if your dad is like tempted to research the kids you're gonna verse, imagine like your opponents or their coaches, they're gonna try to find ways to
Yeah,
research you
they're
too.
gonna do the
So
same thing.
yeah, so it's you have to be careful about that. But you know, I guess for you, Tydus, you know, when you are like prepping for fights, like how is your mindset, you know, mentally? Or is there any like rituals that you do, or like do you kind of like have your coach hype you up? How is that process like?
They usually pray before I fight, or when we're prepping for a fight, or we don't really do that much except for like pray and then just go and do it.
You don't listen to your dad's beats at all, or like, you know, to get amped up?
Not really.
He listens to Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah. So how did that start? Just the whole like the victory dance that you do. Like,
Oh, I don't know. I think randomly at the gym, I just did some dance, and then my coach said I should do that when I win. So then I did it for my first amateur fight, and then now I just keep on doing it.
I gotta say, you seem you're very young to be listening to Michael Jackson. So, you know, was that something you just found on your own, or was your parents listening to it, or at least to his music?
I think my uncles, or maybe my dad, they were listening to Michael Jackson or something, and I don't know. I just fell with it. I just started listening to it, and then I don't know. I just got into Michael Jackson and stuff.
That's very cool, man. You know, I guess one of the fan questions I have for you. I guess we could just go into some of these fan questions here. I've got, you know, just a few, but one of them is from like some friends of mine. Tydus Yang, he asks you, Tydus, you know, have you watched any, or is there any favorite boxing movie that you like?
I haven't really watched any movies except for Creed. I'm kind of like maybe like half into Creed. I mean, I'm liking it so far. I'm probably gonna watch the new Creed movie. So
Okay, you should definitely watch Rocky before you
Yeah.
watch Creed. but do not emulate Rocky though, because Rocky has the worst boxing of all time because he
Yeah.
defends with his face. No head movement, nothing. He
Yeah.
just stands there and brawls. So do not
Yeah.
emulate that at all. And let's see here. Another question here is from my friend T. He asks, this is for both you and LP. Who are your I guess we kind of touched up on this a little bit, but oh shit. Let me pull the question back up. I just lost it. Let me see if I can get this. So we did touch up on I guess we touched up on your favorite boxers, but who do you guys think would win between Tank and Ryan Garcia? Because I know that fight's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. To me, it's 50-50, man, because, I mean, I know Tank's been winning a lot, but Ryan is good too, man. I really can't call it.
I think Tank's gonna win, but Ryan's fast and he's really good too. He's strong. He's fast. Tank has good defense. He's strong as well. He plays smart. He waits and he fights on his back foot.
I was recently on a boxing podcast, Standing 8 podcast. We kind of talked about this too a little bit. I like I've said before, I'm not too into boxing. I don't know that much about it, but I have watched like highlights of Garcia and Tank, and I gotta say, Garcia's left hook is what could like help him the most, because that's what he really relies on. But Tank, on the other hand, has a good chin, and he's got power in both hands. And we've seen Ryan Garcia get dropped already. So, I think it all depends on like who engages who first, and then could Tank take the left hook, or can Ryan Garcia stay on the outside and just stick with the jab and lead with this left hook? Because I don't think he's gonna win that exchange if they like throw hands at each other in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, there's a lot going into that fight too. I heard that he has a rehydration clause too. So on the day of the fight, he can't weigh no more than 146. So that, I don't know, that might play a big factor into it too. So
yeah, the podcast I was on, they were talking about that. Like Like why didn't they just like agree to like an actual weight? I think they're
Because
only
Tank
like a
is
pound,
scared.
right?
Because
It,
Tank
it
is
could be because they were saying like because it's only like a 1 pound difference from the weight class up anyway. So like why
Yeah.
meet in the middle like that with a hydration clause? And then, but the thing is like Garcia is signed to it, so
Yeah,
he
because
can't be mad if he loses either.
I think he just wants to make the fight happen, though. So it's like I can't blame him for that. But yeah, if he does lose, he did sign up for it. So
Now, Tydus, do you weigh yourself after like weigh in too, like or at least post weigh in, like after you hydrate and all that?
I kind of wait before the weigh-in to check where I am, and then I mean it's different. Like I feel like some of the scales are like incorrect, and some are like different. It's kind of weird because like at the gym they have a scale, and when I weigh myself there, it's like I'm like at 103 or something, and at home I'm like at 100. So it's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of weird. Or like,
I mean, you could do like what the UFC do and like just hold a towel up, and then like it could sometimes it could change your weight because there's been cases where fighters will like weigh in, because they'll allow you to weigh in naked, so like they'll hold the towel up, and I guess apparently the conspiracy is because they hold the towel, it kind of like alleviates the weight that you put on the scale, so people kind of quote unquote cheat like that. I guess we can go to this last question here. Again, this is from my friend T. He asks, Tydus, do you think Jake Paul is the GOAT?
oh, I mean, he's not really that bad of a fighter, but I don't think he can really like box as good. He's wild. He's not really that good. I mean, he has power, but like there's like not really that much technique or speed, I think. I mean, he doesn't really have good boxing IQ either. He just throws.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like he's got a good right hand, but I mean, and if you look at again, folks always point this out, like his opponents, they're not even boxers. They're all retired MMA fighters.
And then when he fought a real boxer, he lost.
Yeah. But it's things like that too, like with people who have that kind of clout and all that, like it's definitely a big money move where they don't want guys like him to lose because they know that people who buy into this stuff want him to lose. It's like the whole McGregor thing. So for you, Tydus, I know you're still very young at this, and hopefully you're not that in too deep of the game yet where it comes to like that kind of animosity in the sport. But are there times where I guess either your opponents or you like try to trash talk each other, or like because apparently because this is going to be a big thing when you get older and you have more experience, you're going to come across people who are going to like trash talk you and say some like wild things to you. So how does that make you feel?
I don't really like the trash talk that much because I don't know. I don't like trash talking. I mean, trash talking is entertaining and stuff, but I don't really know how to do it too.
If your dad goes right for you, they say this. What about you, LP? Like, what goes through your mind when I guess if he's still doing this when he's older and coming across fighters like that? What goes through your mind?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll just tell him like I tell everybody, like all the people that like the musicians that I work with, right? Like T.O. Onan and whatever. Whenever people talk shit or we have beef, I just say, man, just stay humble. Just do what you got to do and show them that way, Because look at Pacquiao, he don't got to talk shit, right?
Yeah.
You can just be the nicest person. When you get in the ring, it's a different story, But with amateur fights, though, like, oh, yo, the parents get crazy, y'all.
Yes. Sport parents are the worst parents. Like I've had my fair share, especially with wrestling. I remember like there was one kid I versed, and he was very green like me. So they put us, my coaches and their coach, like agreed to just let us have an exhibition because we were very green. And we went against each other, and I guess the parents didn't think that he'd lose because he was like a lot taller than me. But he was very stiff. So I took him down easily, and I pinned him within like less than a minute. And the parents, I could hear them; they were going off. And I don't know, man. Like I'm glad that like I know you're not that type of parent, Paul. So like I'm glad like you don't come across like that. Tydus go in there and kick his ass. Those parents are like the worst. Like they're terrible because like they're living through their kid. And I hate that.
Yeah, no, I tell my son like bro. Just go in there, be safe, have fun, and get it done. That's it. You know what I mean?
Has your siblings watched you like go into your amateur bouts as well, like your younger siblings?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But like they don't, or like they watch, but like they're not really like, I don't know, as like into
The only one
it.
that actually watched him live was his sister. She went to 2 of his fights.
Oh, okay. How did she take it seeing you go in there and box like that too?
Um, I don't think she was really like. I think she was kind of shocked, and I think she felt scared for me because she she hasn't really seen me like spar and stuff. So this is something like new for her, basically.
Okay. Yeah, it's very different. Like even like when my sister, like she would see me do that stuff, she would tell me off to the side, like, I wanted to go in there and like whoop their ass. Like, you're so small, like you can't do nothing to them. But yeah, it's really nice to see that you're doing this, Tydus, man. I think that because you're still young, you're able to gain a lot of experience, because not a lot of fighters get to have opportunities like this, because a lot of fighters are either going to the sport a little bit older, but then, like, we have like our I guess, who am I thinking of? The guy that fought Fury, like he's like one in a million, where he went in there like very much older and was like knocking people out. What's his name? What is his name? I'm drawing blanks here.
Let me see. Is it
Wilder? I'm thinking of Wilder.
Okay.
Yeah, because Wilder was a lot older, and he went into the sport, and his power like pretty much carried him through his career. So, but like again, like back to what I was saying, I think it's great to see younger fighters come up and do this and practice this in a safe way, because even when you're young like this, like there's chances. I don't want to like jinx you, so knock on wood. Like there's chances of getting injured very young, and that could like be a big opportunity change, because even like for me, like I got injured like still practicing and going into the sport, and I can't do it no more because my shoulders are bad, my neck is bad, my knees are giving out on me now. So I just hope that Tydus, you stay safe, just you have good coaches, your dad's there with you, so just be safe and all that stuff. I guess before we do end things here, Tydus, man, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. I know this is very new for you still, and thank you, LP, for jumping back on the podcast as well, and doing this this virtual podcast. Because if folks don't know, the last time me and LP spoke, we didn't even have like cameras or anything. It was all
it was
audio.
just audio.
So it was audio in his booth, in his studio booth. So I'm very appreciative of this opportunity. So for fans and followers who want to follow you guys, especially you, Tydus, how can they do that?
Through Instagram. I think it's Tydus Yang.
It's Tydus.Yang.
Oh, Tydus.
Yeah.
And you guys can follow LP on Facebook and on at Hmong as well on YouTube. And I'll have all those links in the show notes as well. Was there anything that you guys like to say before we wrap things up here?
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to Midwest Monsters and Fist to Face for sponsoring Ty. It means a lot, especially for them to sponsor him. He's just a 12-year-old kid, that just started boxing last April. It hasn't even been a year yet, and so many people has been showing him love, and as a father, I really appreciate that people can support my kid as much as I do.
That is awesome. Anything you want to say, Tydus, before we wrap up?
Nothing much.
You don't want to give your coaches a shout out?
Shout out your coaches.
Oh yeah, shout out to my coaches, Coach Noah, Coach Darnell.
All right, so hopefully we can do this again after your Golden Gloves, or maybe sometime in the summer, or like down the year. Like I said, I'm very glad to have you guys on to talk about this, because I did not expect to have Tydus on like this early in his career, and I didn't think that, or at least I didn't know that this was like one of the first interviews that he's had. I assumed that folks would reach out more, so hopefully because of this podcast, hopefully more folks reach out to you guys too and just speak with you guys on their shows.
Yeah.
So Tydus, you get more of the I guess the attention as well to get your brand out there. But this is episode 155. You guys make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Spoiler Force Podcast. Follow LP, follow Tydus. Again, all the links are in the show notes as well. And I'll have links to their gym in the show notes as well, just to shout them out to Gold's Gym. So thank you guys, and have a great day.
All right. See ya.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give a review and rate Spoiler Force Podcast. If you want to get all Spoiler Force updates or even peeks at behind the scenes, you can join the Spoiler Force Discord community. And if you'd like to show support, give tips, recommendations, sponsorships, or any collaborations, you can email me at rickyvang92@gmail.com.